Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to go over some charts. These are not my charts. They are charts that I got from Twitter. If you were to go onto my Twitter account at finding_finance, this is John. I think it's like at Ginster or something like that. That's who did these charts. I think they're pretty good. So I'm going to share them to give you guys another perspective. Uh, not coming just from mine, but from someone else. And you guys can see kind of what he has for a lot of uranium and precious metals charts. And then I also have some other charts in there going over kind of random information that I grabbed from Twitter because I think they're important to kind of get in front of you guys so you understand kind of where we're at in terms of like negative yields and stuff like that. So let's walk through this. Give you another bit, another a different perspective on some of the charts so you guys can see something else. This is John Jin is his name. He's been charting for a long time. He does a lot of uranium things. And if you guys are interested, go to my Twitter. He's one of my people that I follow, and I retweet a lot of his stuff. But here's Uranium Royalty Corporation. You can kind of see that we've got some congestion areas, and that's how you can somewhat put a congestion area or support area. So support area here, support area here. We're coming on down, and we're going to be bouncing at these support areas. And this downtrend line is broken, and sometimes you kind of bounce a little bit sideways to square up the momentum from the move, and then you start to head on higher. He's saying that these areas are probably good buy points since there's good support in those areas. And I agree. Looks good. Here is silver versus the US dollar. Silver's been coming on down. We're coming into these resistance lines and support lines. Good support line underneath here. I think he thinks that this is a great entry point. I would agree. And he thinks that it could potentially go on up. It doesn't mean that we know the direction of where things can go. But what we do when we're doing technical analysis is we try to find undervalued areas, sectors, like silver, like gold, like uranium and oil. And then we try to find turning points. So we've got a downtrend line. It broke out, it came back, and this is a good support area. It's broken through the downtrend line, and then we're probably going to see a potential move higher here for silver commodity itself. Here's gold. Gold's been, if you look at the big picture view here, we've been going back and forth, and we're basically coming to a point where we're going to break something. We've been consolidating, and it's been getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. We kind of broke out. We're coming back, and I agree with this. I think we're going to go on and move on up. I've just been holding on with the companies I have and seeing where this thing goes, but very well could head higher here. Another way that you could look at this is you have a little shoulder, head, shoulder, where it could break, punch down a little bit lower. But either way, and I don't know the exact immediate future on these short-term charts, this very well could play out the way he's got it. And what I do is I just hold on. And the short-term movements, they usually are short, small little price projections anyway. So it doesn't really matter if we go up or down before the move up in the short term, I think. Here's Denison Mines. Denison Mines, we've got this channel it's been going up in. We're towards the bottom of the channel. I think, just like he would think, that it's a low-risk area to be buying at this support line as it bounces off the support lines. So this would be a spot that he would be interested in, and myself. Energy Fuels is doing the same thing. We've been going between this resistance line and these support lines underneath. We're coming to the first support line, and then we got another second support line underneath it. And then we've got two resistance lines above it. So it's an upward channel with two kind of resistance lines on the upper channel and lower channel. Here's Denison Mines. Again, this is December 10th that it was done. Coming on up, nice good consolidation area. We continue to move higher. We're at the low end of this channel. And that's when you want to buy, is at the low end of the channel. And he's got fib retracements, 38.45% to the bottom here. This one was 27.78, 38.97, 31.11, 48.48 from top to bottom. And we're in that general vicinity of probably where it's going to turn and move on up. And we could tag this bottom line by happenstance, but we do have a downward trend line that's broken that we're broke out and doing a little bit of a retest on. So we're probably very close to a bottom. It's probably going to square this thing up. If you notice, whenever you come on down, it kind of goes sideways a little bit and squares it up. It comes down, it came up and squared it up before moving on up. It's going to come on down, it's going to kind of bounce sideways a little bit and then move on up. So here's Denison Mines zoomed in. The downtrend line, the channel is broken. We've broken to the upside. We're coming on back, finding hopefully support right where that line is. So he's got a real good job there. Stochastics, which is usually delayed. You can see this thing turning around. That's good. Here's Archaea Energy. I don't know too much about it, but it's in an upward channel. We broke out of this kind of support resistance line coming through here. It was probably a really good spot to try to pick up shares down here. Here's Journey Energy. I don't know this company either. Downtrend line or downtrend channel, and we're trying to break out above the channel potentially for Journey Energy. Here's gold. Looking at gold from a big long-term perspective. Nice big bullish engulfing there. Coming on up. He's got like a sell point there, another buy point, 51% retracement. Coming on up, and we're creating a pattern here. He has a price projection of 27.29 by 2025, 2026, somewhere in that range, that we're going to probably go towards in this market environment. Looking at the US dollar index, he thinks it's going to break down potentially. We're hitting some resistance up here, and we could potentially come all the way down here, hit the bottom of this upward channel line, and then break to the downside, moving lower in the 2022 timeframe. Here's ISO Energy. This was December 9th. A couple of support areas through here. What potentially could be happening is a double bottom. We bottom here, we bottom here, and then we're going to come on up. And this could float all around and eventually work its way back up to the upper channel at 526, and we'll have to see where to go when we get there. Here's Forum Energy Metals. Coming to a theater near you is what he says. Big old area back up here of 48 cents. We've got lots of support down here on a big long-term perspective from 2016, 17, and 2020s. We've come all the way back down to that support, and that's where a potential good buy is. So if you guys like Forum Energy Metals and you just want to put a teeny bit in it, up to you. Do your own research. Maybe their properties are struggling. Maybe that's what you need to look at before buying it. So here's the probability of 3 Fed rate hikes in 2022. The latest is 96%. You can see this thing chopping around the upper area, but people think that the Federal Reserve is going to do 3 rate hikes next year with a 96% probability. If the stock market crashes, I'd like to see how this thing moves in terms of percentage. This is the Fed's total asset of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. They said they were going to taper, and it doesn't look like they're tapering at all. They're just continuing to buy. So they're telling you one story and then doing another, and they're continuing to buy assets, and it continues to move on up. They are lying to you. Here's the Wilshire 500 or 5,000 price index, average price in ground beef. This thing's been moving on up, hit 2000s. This was the last. 98.99 in this time frame is when we threw the buy signal of commodities. It had a little bit more oomph in it to go a couple more years, and then it started to decline all the way to 2008. Then we went into another period where it went sideways, squared up the move, and shot higher again. I think we are probably somewhere in this topping phase and eventually going to rocket lower, given the outperformance of commodities in general. And beef is a commodity. Average global real inflation adjusted bond yields. Low, real negative. It's been negative the whole time, so I don't know who the heck wants to buy bonds, but it's confusing to me. But this is the conditions for a commodity bull market. German year-ahead power price, powering ahead. Almost 180 euros per megawatt hour. In 2017, it was like $30. Massive move to the upside. Go renewables. Way to put in those renewables and drive that price higher. Here's the real pain. U.S. stocks inflation adjusted earnings yield hasn't been this low in decades. Look at the negative inflation adjusted earnings in the 70s, early 80s. That's the two gold peaks. Gold peaked up, it pulled back, and then it ran higher again and peaked in the 1980-ish timeframe. And now we're back in negative territory, and it's more negative than it's ever been. This is a good, I think, setup for commodities and precious metals, where people are going to start rotating their money out of U.S. stocks, just stocks in general. Here's GoviAx Uranium. I'm kind of swapping back and forth. This was done December 9th. I love this chart, guys. This is why I own a good amount of GoviAx, as a chart pattern that looks like this. We've got these highs here, and we came down, we broke out of this long-term downtrend. I bought the living poop out of it right here. That was my core position. I've been holding on. I bought again, came on up, and I bought again on this big down day right here. And I think this thing's going to rocket higher at some point, and absolutely take it in this breakout of new highs when it goes. So this one, I think I'm ready for it. I've been waiting for it, and I've loaded up on it. It's one of the positions that I'm a little bit overweight in, is GoviAx Uranium. Here's Bannerman Energy, another one of my overweights. We've got a trend line channel. We've been moving on up. It's bouncing off the trend line channel, It'd be a nice spot to buy right here again, and it could square this up and eventually make its way back up to 45 cents for the chart patterns. This one is Next Gen Energy, big picture view. We've been going in the downtrend channel. We broke that, and now we're moving up. He's got kind of a megaphone type pattern. He thinks potentially a target could be $9.28 as this thing works its way back and forth up the megaphone pattern. Silver Elephant Mining looks like it's coming into a squeezy type situation. Good spot to be looking at it for a potential break to the upside. Two kind of price projections are 53 cents and 75 cents. From the current, looks like 28 cents that it's at. VanEck Gold Miners, GDX. Looking at this thing, it's been going back and forth, and we're in this kind of upward channel with support underneath it as well, and a potential buy point where it's at today for GDX. We've got Global X Uranium, that's URA, and you can see this large channel that it's been trading in. And we're coming back down, finding support. I think this is the 200-day on a potential buy signal with a projected move of 1527 from, let me see here if I got that right. No, it's at 25.54. The price move from the bottom would be $15.27 from this bottom. Looking at North Shore Global Uranium Mining, this is URNM. Nice big old pattern coming up. We're coming to some support underneath it. Potentially could be moving higher. Price projected move is 121.47 from our 80-something dollars right now. This is Fission Uranium Corp. Nice big bullish engulfing. It's got a little bit of a buy pattern with the support underneath it. 2 lines right here. It has a retracement from the top of about 43% to the bottom. He's thinking that it's a good buy spot in here, even though we could go back and forth a little bit longer, but it looks good. Here's ICE Europe Carbon Futures. This thing's been moving on up. When you have energy shortages and they are burning whatever they can, the carbon credits go up in value because they have energy shortages and they're going to pay more for carbon credits to emit carbon. I'm not playing this sector. I don't care about it, but I would not be buying in at these highs here. That's me. If you're going to buy into it, you should have been buying into it in 2017 when nobody needed them. Looking at, this is the metal major exchange. This is copper inventories. This is copper inventories coming on down, and we've been sucking through inventory. Inventories are dropping worldwide of copper. It's down, and they're continuing to deplete, and I think copper is a good spot to be with inventories declining over time. So that's what I've got for today. I just kind of wanted to cover a wide array of topics here and give you guys some information on some other things that I don't normally cover, and then a perspective from John on Twitter. So if you want to follow John and get his updates, go to my Twitter at @finding_finance, and then look for stuff that I post, and you can add it. So that's one way that you can get a different perspective than just mine. A lot of his charts are really good. So I look at them, I reference them. I also reference some other people's just for my own sake to make sure that I'm getting stuff right as well. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.